So, what do you think about sociopaths and sociopathy? Because, I've come to the conclusion that it rules the world.
Always has.
When you consider all the
Difference makers.
movers and shakers.
Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
It
Stalin.
goes back. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you can name Hitler. and
Genghis Khan.
Well, I was going to say Genghis
Yeah.
Khan.
Genghis Khan, Henry VIII,
The I'm forgetting the Muslim.
Mr. T.
And there's a lot of second. No, there was a really influential leader in the 1300s or whatever.
Rue
It's the one
McClanahan.
that split the Sunnis from the Shia.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, whatever I forget because
and
I'm a
my
white
laptop.
American. I was never taught that.
Well, I'm just thinking that, even CEOs like of big companies are just crazy. It's
Right.
like and not only that, but you need to be a sociopath to get into these positions.
I think a lot of went on 250 years ago with drafting the Constitution was attempting to create an immune system.
Right.
If you look at
From
if
that,
you,
that's
if
right.
you look at a nation state as an organism, they tried to build in these checks and balances that would prevent
The French Revolution.
yeah prevent sociopaths from
That's right.
So there were built-in filters to try to prevent money from taking over. You had the three different branches of government, but it's such a powerful force that those people filter. They eventually float to the top because they're willing to do things that most of us are not willing to do. They're
Right.
willing to hurt people in large numbers, and they don't even notice that. It's like because there is no empathy. These are people,
Right.
and
Exactly.
we who
They're nuts.
we don't know how to defend ourselves against it.
Have you experienced
And
it
there-
in your
and
real
there's a-
life?
yeah.
Like with-
I have. Yeah.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
And there's
have you, Craig? You've like in real life and not from like afar.
Did you know any sociopaths besides me and Scott?
well, I would say that I've dealt with people who have narcissistic personality
Right.
disorder, but I would not go so far as to say that I've had that I've been personally harmed or encounters that have really directly affected me from a true sociopath, somebody who would, if it was convenient for them, would kill me and never think about it again if they were not worried about the only thing preventing them would be getting caught. I'm sure I've
Or exposed, right?
right, so that there's but I've certainly dealt with narcissism.
Sure.
That's malignant. That's really
Right.
Yeah, how
but-
can you not? I was going to say.
but
Right.
we all
I just
encounter
dealt with it
that,
today.
and I wonder, but I sort of, there's a gray area where that malignant narcissism becomes sociopathy, and who knows exactly where that is. But what I did hear was that anywhere from 40 to 50% when they do psychological batteries of tests on people who are CEOs of multinational corporations, a good half of them
Yeah.
are
Or more.
are
Qualify.
test out as psychopaths.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're also paid very
and-
well.
And
There's a
except-
TED talk about that.
but they're just
Wow. There's a TED Talk about everything.
There's a
human beings are simply something that they use to get what they want, and then there's this really rarefied class of sociopath, of course, for whom nothing is ever, that hoarding instinct is so powerful, and that's what now has, those are the people now who own the United States,
Right.
who own the government outright,
Right.
and we might have one more chance to at least impede their complete takeover, the finishing the coup.
But also with sociopaths, there's different levels. There's like 4 levels.
Well, that's what makes.
So you can have,
Yeah.
you can be a guy, and I forget exactly, but it's like a guy when somebody slips on a banana peel and you just think it's hilarious. And then the next level is when you put the banana peel there, they slipped on it. The next one is like, you hold a gun to their head and make them slip on the banana peel. And then the third one is you just shoot them in the head.
That's right.
Or the fourth one.
Right.
And that's kind of it. That's kind of the examples
That's good.
of it.
Yeah.
And there's, and I think I know a level 3. So,
Yeah, that's right. I think
Yeah.
you do too.
Yeah.
I don't know him, but
No.
from everything you've told me. Well, my story is I have a really dear friend who is going through a breakup, a marriage dissolution, and her former partner is I would call a sort of a classic California liberal who's very intelligent,
gross.
holds down a high-paying job, is very PC, language able, but batshit crazy and a total psychopath, sociopath. And the way I've experienced through my friend is she's a person that puts on airs as she's extremely together and trustworthy, and she just lies like the most incredible lies possible. So it's
So
almost
this is a
like
male friend.
the female. She was in a
Oh,
she was
it's
in
a
a
gay
same-sex
relationship. Yeah, okay.
partnership,
Oh.
and she uses that. She'll use things. And I've seen it, firsthand, and she'll petition the court and say, "Well, Your Honor, me as an upstanding citizen, it's been this way, and I know for a fact that it wasn't."
Yeah.
So
They're
she
good
can get
liars.
up. Yeah, absolutely, they're great.
Well,
liars.
and this sociopath that I know's wife is a big, tall tailor.
right.
Yeah. So it's funny how, the lying and the narcissism.
So what
is-
I've seen is how it affects the recipient. I mean, and I suppose it's happening to all of us with the administration. We get such whopper lies now. You're just kind of shocked, and you can't believe it's happening. That happens to her a lot, and then she gets really, I guess the word is depressed, because people believe.
So all this sociopathy stuff makes me want to go dancing. We should go clubbing.
Well, we went
We
when
should
we
go.
were young, but we would go down to the I-Beam, or especially if somebody good was playing.
That was
Yeah.
the thing, but I
It was
never.
different.
I always felt like
You were
an
gay?
imposter when I went. When I just went there without a purpose to hear a band or be the band.
Right.
I just
right.
never. I wanted to belong. I
Yeah,
really
Right.
did.
Me too.
I wanted those really pretty young women to pay attention to me,
Right.
but
Still do.
I wanted to be a good dancer
Yeah.
or be free enough to dance even if I'm a bad dancer, because everybody was.
Right.
Yeah.
There weren't very
Herb
many.
was the best.
Herb could dance. Yeah. The mantis.
Well, he just
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah, he didn't.
He didn't care.
He didn't care.
Yeah.
Well, plus there was a time in the '80s where dancing just was jumping up and down.
Yeah, it was like the put on the B-52s,
Right,
and
that's
jump
right.
up and
and
down.
jump up and down. That was dancing for a long time,
yeah.
quite
The
a while.
Reagan years.
Yeah,
Um,
but
oh.
Yeah, we kind of did it.
We're down here in the country.
I- you know, frankly, I actually-
Oh, hold
I got
on.
100, another
Hold on,
another
real
now,
quick.
now 15, now 16, now 16, now 16, now 70, 70, 70, 70. I got 106, now. Come on, Charlie. Tim. I got 200, another minute now, Tim. Now, Tim. Yup, Tim, another minute now, 100, another minute now, 20 now. Come on, boy. I got 20 minute now, 30 minute now, 30 minute now, 220 minute now, 30. There's the bar at 250.
I enjoy going to a club more now than I did then, because now I don't care.
Right.
Yeah, well, you get to a certain
I'm
age.
55, and
Right. You
I
didn't-
don't. Yeah,
it's
now
so
I don't
true,
care,
isn't
and-
it?
Yeah, and I
So
don't care, and
true.
once in a while I do dance.
I'd
And,
love to see you dance. I've never seen you dance in 40 years.
I've danced my ass off.
Really?
A few
And how
ti-
do
a
you
few
dance?
times.
Do you snap your fingers and stuff?
Yeah, I snap
You
my
do the
fingers and-
swim,
Yeah, I do the swim.
Yeah.
Yeah, the twist.
the twist,
Yeah, I kind of take a step forward and a step back, and
do the
like, no.
locomotion. Yeah, yeah. I
really, no.
I'm still
Hey?
I'm still hooked on Talking Heads kind of style dancing. You know, where you do the whoops like you're gonna fall back on people and spin your
Yeah.
arms around in circles, and everybody around you kind of vacates, and you can just act like an idiot all by yourself. Oh, I have a story. So I went to this Armenian, was it a wedding party? You know, I don't know if you've ever been to an Armenian
Yes.
party. They're crazy. You know,
Yes.
they're like
And the
$100,000.
band is great.
Great band.
Yeah.
The food just keeps coming and coming, and it's a top notch, you know, Mediterranean stuff. Anyway, I'd been drinking. This guy next to me was drinking shots of vodka, and he just kept putting them in front of me, and I got just hammered by this Russian guy. Yeah. And so I went out and I'm starting to dance like they dance, you know, and they do this thing where they kind of clip their fingers together. It's almost like a hula thing, like they move their hands around really softly.
It's a gypsy thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's a gypsy thing. And so I was watching them do that, and so I started to do it, and people are looking at me and like laughing. And then it turns out that men don't do that.
Oops.
The men don't do
Yeah,
that.
man.
The men just kind of move.
So this
around.
Russian guy got you to do it?
No,
he
the
was-
Russian guy got me drunk. He
Oh,
was
I
sitting
see.
next to me. He was giving me. I just went out on the dance floor and I just was
Russian
copying people, and I just copied the wrong gender. And oh
Well,
my
was
god,
it as if you had the handbells
Yes,
that the
exactly.
belly dancers
Yeah.
use? Because-
clarinets? What do they call those things?
Yeah. Well, they're
Castanets.
castanets,
Yeah.
or they're little bells, the
Right.
finger
Oh,
bells.
the band usually plays on a clarinet too.
Well, yeah, that's how they dance. But like they have invisible castanets.
Yep. Yeah.
And I was doing that, and then I just got
Yeah, just
Laughed
mercilessly
and I-
ridiculed.
yeah, and then I just I just stopped and just
Thanks,
went
Russian
back to my
guy.
seat.
Yes.
By any
passed
chance
out.
did that happen on election day?
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, that's right.
Did the Russian guy get you drunk on election day?
How many people? I wonder how many people actually know the origin of the term gaslighting.
It's a film.
It's the movie.
When
yeah,
you light your
with,
farts.
It's from the movie Gaslight.
Yeah, it's
right.
the movie
Was that
Gaslight.
Hitchcock? I can't
No,
remember.
it wasn't Hitchcock.
Anyway.
And I'm trying to remember,
Look it up
and it
on
wasn't Claude Rains, but Ingrid Bergman.
Right. That's
but
right.
but her, she marries this guy. This guy charms her into marrying him. People around her, wonder like who is this guy? He's older.
He's the perfect man.
But he's at first he's
Perfect.
charming. He's very very handsome.
Mhm, like me.
Elegant, dashing, takes her to all the right parties. But he knows that she's
Darling.
wealthy. She's inherited,
Takes it all the right.
supposedly inherited a
God, I wish
fortune.
I'd have known that was the way to pick up chicks. Anyway, go ahead. Especially her, Ingmar Bergman. She was a.
So he deliberately
Knockout.
starts to he makes sounds in the attic. He
Oh,
messes. And
Great
the reason
film.
it got and
I never saw it.
he turns
film.
on the gas in the attic while he's looking for her jewels or her hidden fortune, and she hears stuff moving around. And then he'll come back in a different entrance and she'll say, "I saw the lights flicker, the gas lights were going down, and I heard sounds." And he said, "No, you didn't."
Right.
And that's it was such a great
Darling,
film.
I'm worried
and it-
about you. Darling, I'm
Yeah.
really worried
And
about
he
you.
has her.
There's something wrong with
So
you.
so she begins to doubt her own sanity.
Mhm.
She does start to go out of her mind, and then she exhibits symptoms. of being what they called hysterical, which was always a sexist and misogynistic
Yep.
term.
Didn't apply to men.
Yeah.
No,
Huh, yeah, I
hyster,
never
hyster
thought of
meaning
that.
uterus.
Right.
I mean, it
Yeah,
was like,
hyster.
yeah,
Right.
You had to have a uterus to be hysterical. You know, that was the,
God.
which was, yeah, so the term itself was really demeaning. And
We
so,
don't hear it much anymore.
yeah, and
Make
I
America
can't remember whether it's
hysterical again.
a friend or somebody's onto him and exposes him, and but we're all being gaslit.
Yep.
On
Mhm.
like now it's not every day anymore. It's every hour.
Yeah.
And I posted this thing. I called it my favorite lie, which of course was from Tyrannosaurus Rump, where he's talking to the Italian president, and he says Luciano Pavarotti
Right.
is a great friend of mine. Great friend.
You're kidding.
Talking to the
No,
Italian
dude.
president. So it's perfect because nothing that comes out of that, almost nothing that comes out of that thing's mouth is
Mhm.
not dishonest in the extreme.
Mhm.
But this
true.
one,
Yeah.
was completely unnecessary.
Right.
That yeah.
Didn't
That's
so
a sociopathy.
yeah, it's
yeah.
completely unnecessary. There's nothing to be gained.
It's about him. It's
and-
like I know this famous person. Right?
Yeah, no, I mean and you're talking to the president of Italy,
Yeah.
Right. Right.
and about an
It's a
Italian
big clue.
national treasure, right? It's
Right.
like
Right.
as if the president of Italy isn't going to
Right.
actually know
Right.
that Luciano Pavarotti's been dead for almost 11 years,
It's
Yeah.
like
right?
it's
Not
just,
gonna and that he's just these and you begin to wonder. I wonder if he even even knows he's lying. They just
Yeah.
right.
this stink of lie just
Well, he's just
emanates
has-
from his
yeah.
mouth,
Right.
and what
And my friend wonders that about her ex-wife. Yeah.
so there's
same thing.
and what
No different.
I've heard of borderline personality disorder being where people have a serious problem with knowing the difference between truth and falsehood.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it's alpha male-y things. I mean, he's trying to be an alpha male in front of this guy by saying that, I'm friends with Luciano
Yeah, I'm
Pavarotti.
better
the
than
big-
you.
Yeah, I'm better than you. I'm the alpha male
Great
in the
friend.
room. Yeah,
Great friend, great friend of mine. Dead for 11 years.
Tremendous.
Dead
Yeah.
for 11 years.
Great friend of mine. Whoa.
Sorry, man.
But what
I got 120 bid now, 30 bid now. Come on, Mr. Rulli. 120 bid, 30, 30 bid now, 40, 40, 40, 40. I'll tell you what, I ought to have hands all over the crowd in here. 140. I got 130 bid now, put another bid now, put another bid. Yes, 40 bid now, 50, 50, 50. 140 bid now, 50, 50 now, 50, 140. Yes, 50. Now 60, now 60, now 60, now 60, now 150, now 60. I got 150 bid, $60 with a bid. And yes or no. Time's up. Farewell and cast call. Lacey's the bar 110. Roll 'em, boys. Bring me horses.
what sticks with me, and one of the things that among many, as I was saying, keep me up at night, is wondering about people who do not object to being lied to.
And people that know they're being lied to and they just play the game.
Like what is going on so that it's whatever it is, 34, 35, 38%, depending on whatever poll.
I think it's
Mhm.
lower
You know,
than that, actually.
Of what?
People that support the administration.
Oh.
Yeah.
Basically.
I heard it was 34%.
So what say
well-
it's 34%,
Right.
That's a lot of people.
That's a third of
Yeah.
the.
That's
yeah, right.
that's a third of our
Well, listen to this.
of our eligible voting
Right.
age, body politic. What again? I think I'm repeating myself. What's wrong with you?
Well,
I
I'll
mean,
tell you
like,
what's wrong with them. 34%, according to the census, 34% of this country is either uneducated or undereducated. Exactly 34%. And guess what his poll numbers were at for a long time? They've
Right.
actually dropped. It was at 34%.
Yeah.
34 is an interesting number because, if you look at the Census Bureau, if you just Google, undereducated people in the United States and look all through it, it goes state by state.
Mm-hmm.
It's 34%.
And most of them
And
are in those
that's
states, by the
who-
way.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Mississippi,
Yeah, these
Alabama.
undereducated people
Right.
Well,
are
and
being duped,
Louisiana.
and they're voting against their own good. What's the word?
Self-interest.
Self-interest.
well, I think I mean
Right.
the people are all over us,
crazy.
lefties, for saying that, but it's hard not to say it, and you look at this.
Well,
this
facts
recent
are facts.
tax-
it's the census.
Tax abomination, which it's amazing how Orwellian language works, because they call it a tax cut, but for me and for you
Yeah,
and
for
for
everybody,
you
for
and
most
for
people I know,
anybody who's
it's gonna be a
listening to
tax hike.
us
Yeah.
blather right now,
Mhm.
it's a tax increase.
Right.
Yeah.
For most
Wealthy
of the
people.
country. It's a tax increase, so but all they have to do is, well, we'll just call it a tax cut.
Yeah.
It isn't a tax cut.
I don't think it's going to pass. I really
I-
don't, because
yeah.
a lot of
No.
people.
I
you're-
didn't
you're-
think Trump would be elected.
Well,
either.
Yeah. No, and I mean, at least people are calling, for one thing, what they call the deficit hawks, I think have to be, it's $2 trillion that it's going to add to the deficit, that according to the CBO.
Yep.
Um,
I asked Pat Toomey
Close
this
to it.
morning.
Yeah, one said 1.7 trillion. I saw another 1.8 trillion. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Republicans, they don't care about the deficit, right?
Well, they asked. They
It's
asked
been their thing for
Exactly.
all
for
through Obama.
44
Yeah. Right.
for
I saw Pat Toomey this morning on one of the morning TV shows, and they said, "Well, how can you support this when the last 5 years?" And he just goes right into the same drivel about
Talking
trickle down
points, right.
economics and how it's the same stuff. It's the same lie. So that's right. They
But we've done this, and
I
we've
know,
done
that-
it more than once, where we've cut taxes for billionaires and multimillionaires and multinational corporations
Yep.
with no national allegiance, by the way, who are happy to extract the wealth of the country and keep it offshore and spend. And we've done it before, and they have not reinvested
Right.
in the United States. In fact, they've used that money to buy Congress to pass laws that allow them to offshore their
That's
money.
right. That's right. And then go what?
Legally.
Later, 10 years later, what?
Yeah.
We didn't know what.
And the
Right.
irony now is that so you've got this body of the government, Congress, that makes the laws,
Dead
and with the
body.
left hand makes a law that makes laws that makes it legal for these individuals and these corporations to extract all of this wealth from
Yep.
the United States and set it up in tax shelters
Right.
offshore.
Right.
Mhm.
And with the other hand, is wanting to pass saying, oh well, the corporate tax is too high,
Right.
so we're going to lower it to 20.
And
well,
pretend like those shelters don't exist. Right.
lower it to 20.
Right.
They're still better off
Right, that's
taking
right.
the 3 or the 4% tax that they're paying by hiding their money. So
Yep.
what are they going to do?
Yeah,
They're
that's
going
right.
to keep hiding their money. You've done nothing.
That's
Mm.
right.
You've done nothing